Hi, stamping friends. It's Sherry Parker coming to you live on Wednesday, March 19th in Mason, Ohio. Just returned from Stampin' Up's annual conference on stage. It was in Raleigh, North Carolina this year, and about 2,500 demonstrators from really around the world attended. And it was a lot of fun. Got to see some friends that I don't get to see very often, as well as hang out with some of the demonstrators locally that are on our team, and just a lot of fun. So always a great time. You get back and you get all excited, lots of new products and just celebration for accomplishments and milestones. So it was a great time. And back to reality, but I did want to hop on tonight to show you a really cool slider card that I learned. So I've been a demonstrator almost 27 years, and this is something I've never made before. So I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to share this. So one of the demonstrators gave a presentation on a new suite, and one of the cards featured this slider card, and it's really simple to make. So I was excited because I like simple, as you probably know. But also with our on-stage event is the new annual catalog debut, and this is it. I can't show you the inside, but this is the cover. So you can see it's awesome, pretty stuff, and lots of great stuff inside. They did a really good job of listening to feedback from last year. I think people had a hard time finding things last year, so there's some great index in the back with page numbers and everything, and you can see all the different papers and tools and things like that. So I think you'll really like it. So I can't show you, like I said, but I am having a new catalog open house on May 18th. It'll be from 2 to 5, and it's free. So just sign up with me if you'd like to come. I'll have a couple projects for you to make. You'll get to see the new in colors and use them. And it's always a great time. And pick up a catalog if you don't have one mailed to you. Also wanted to mention that starting April 15th, Stampin' Up will be discontinuing the Hostess program. So, you know, for 37 years, they've operated like with home parties and Hostess benefits. That is going away, and it will actually be beneficial for you if you place orders, because for each $20 order that you place as a customer, you will receive credits to use on future orders. It's a 10% credit, and you can bank those and use them and could save up and buy something big. So I think in the long run, you'll be happy. I know change is hard, but one of the things that will have to happen is you will need an online account as a customer, and you will have to opt in to this rewards program. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that as the weeks go on. We still have a few more weeks until that happens. And when you place your first online order, there will be a prompt, if you already have an account, that you would check the box to opt in. If you don't have an account, I will be happy to help you, walk you through the process. I know not everyone feels very tech savvy, but I don't think it's very difficult at all. But at the end of the day, you are the one in control of like your own credit card information and that type of thing. So I will no longer take credit cards. But there are other ways to order, so I can go through all of that. And at my new catalog open house, I'm happy to even talk more about it at length if you would like. So I wanted to mention that. And then also I've got a mystery. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. That I'm having one more mystery hostess event. It's April 13th, so it's right before that turnover. And so sign up if you'd like to. It's $10. If you do place a $30 order at that event, that $10 will go towards your order. So it's just to cover my materials. If you don't want to order, that's okay too. Your $10 will cover the supplies. So hope that you can make it. All right, I think I've mentioned everything, but I did want to also tell you, you can go to my website at sherrythomas.stampinup.net, and I do have a host code. I've got a mystery hostess tomorrow night. So if you are interested in ordering, you can certainly do that. You can use the host code and be part of that mystery hostess. So, you know, we would put your name in the hat too if you do place an order. So, all right, I'm gonna turn my camera over and we will get started. It's hard for me to see without my readers on. Can't even see the buttons on the phone. I can't even see who's on, but I see Michelle. And anyway, thank you guys for joining, and I'm going to get started. I showed you the annual catalog on the cover, and here are the new in colors. So there are some great colors, and there's a returning color, the strawberry slush. So some of you from I don't even know how long it's been. It's been a number of years ago that was an in color. And we've got this great tiger tail and this really pretty secret sea. It's almost like a dark midnight blue, green, black color. It's really pretty. Darling duckling yellow, and then the cloud cover is kind of a gray blue. If you remember bordering blue back in the day, that's what it reminds me of. One thing to note on this one, they were having some ink chemistry formulation issues, so we don't have the pad yet. They're working on it. They'll get it fixed, and then the pads will be available. Here are the colors if you're interested in seeing it. I'm not sure if the video gives it justice or not, but some really pretty bright colors this year. Okay. So I told you I learned a new card technique that I'd never done before in all these years. So I'm not like a real fancy stamper, as you probably know. I like to keep things kind of simple. I like to have embellishments and things, but I thought this was super cool. So this is a gatefold card, which you've probably seen before, but what makes it really cool is this piece is actually a slider, and it can slide off the card, and that's how you open it up. So I thought it was a really fun, different take on a card, fun fold, and I wanted to show you how to do it because it really is simple. So I will set that aside and we'll get started. All you need is a half a sheet of cardstock. It says 8.5 by 5.5. And I'm going to use my paper trimmer here and score at 2 1/8 on each end, okay? Then I'll flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. So 2 1/8. And then what I thought was so cute when she was doing that demonstration, she said, then you're going to just trim a smidge. Okay, so what's a smidge? Well, just a teeny tiny bit. So you'll use the cutting blade that time, cut a smidge. So here's a smidge. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And the reason you're doing this is because you're creating a gap. So if you think about if you were to fold the card in and the two ends would touch, then you know, your sliding mechanism, it would be a little bit more difficult to slide it up and down. So here's an example. I did this one, and you can see that it's a lot closer, the track, and it's just a little bit harder to nudge along. But again, it's not a perfect science, and you can just get creative and you know, explore and do your own take on it. So that's what's so fun. So I'm gonna really crease this real good on the sides there. And then I took a couple strips. These are about a little under 2 inches by 5 1/4. This is the Bouquet Designer Series paper. You've probably seen this 6 by 6 Designer Series paper. Real pretty, subtle, real nice. So these will be my gate pieces that I will just adhere to the front. Just using some Stampin' Seal to put that on. You could use glue, use what you like. And that's really the card base. If you wanted, you could put a little quarter piece of white on the inside, and that would be, you know, certainly nice to do. The reason I didn't, this is a lighter cardstock, and then you can't really tell that there's a gap there. So I thought it was fine just to leave it like that. All right, so we're gonna set that aside, and to make the slider mechanism, it's really easy. So you're gonna need 4 shapes, and I'm using this kind of oval die cut from a new suite. This will be a little teaser for you. There's a Floral Impressions suite, and I believe this will be a new online exclusive because it's not actually in the catalog, but it's not available yet to purchase. But this is the Impressions Abloom stamp set and dies. There's a pack of paper and other items in the suite, but all I have right now are the stamp set and die cut set. So we're gonna use one of the dies. I guess I left it in my stamp room, but it looks very similar to this, but it's slightly smaller and it doesn't have that little edging there. So whatever your shape is, you're gonna need 4 of them, okay? So I've got 4 of these that I've cut out. And incidentally, if you're coming tomorrow night, you will be making this card. So it'll be fun. Okay, so 2 of them you're going to leave flat, and then 2 you're going to fold in half, and we'll do that in just a second. So for the front piece, we're going to stamp, and we're using the Impressions Abloom. This is a 2-step stamp set, and I'm going to be using this flower here and the leaves. And then I'm using the center and a greeting. So using my Balmy Blue, I'm going to ink up the solid part of the stamp, but I'm going to stamp it off on a piece of scrap paper so that it's slightly lighter. And then oops, ooh, I just did a very bad thing. I stamped it in black, so let me wipe that off real quick. I'm a little disheveled because I just got back from Raleigh and I didn't even have my stamp cleanup pad here. But anyway, I'm stamping off the second one. So there you have it. And then directly on top is the highlight part, and we'll stamp that with the Balmy Blue. Right over top. Preferably not black. I suppose you could do that. It'd be a very dramatic flower, wouldn't it? So there's my 2 flowers. And now I will do the leaves. And you could do the same thing. We're stamping off with the leaves, but I actually have 2 different greens. I have the lemon lime twist. We'll stamp that underneath. Do a couple leaves. And then directly on top, there's the highlight part of the leaf, and that one I'm going to stamp in Granny Apple Green. So it's a little bit darker. It's really windy today. It's definitely living up to a March windy day here in Ohio. Hopefully wherever you are, it's a nice day. And then just because I thought it would be fun, I have a strawberry slush ink pad from long ago. So I tend to keep my in colors, so you can even see the style of the pad is different than what we are using currently. But I did order the new one. I just haven't received it yet, but I thought it'd be fun to bring that back for old time's sake. So I've got my very simple scenario there. And then for the greetings, one thing that's kind of cool about this, that they're separate. So I combined the thanks so very much on one stamp. So I only have to stamp it once, and I don't have to worry about maybe having them not straight or having one going a different direction. So that's really all there is to the front of my card. Now, the cool part. We're going to make this slider mechanism. So, as I said, you're going to need 4 shapes. So you could pick any die cut or punch, whatever you happen to have. You just want to cut out 4 of them. 2 of them we're going to fold in half. So I will fold this lengthwise and use my bone folder to give it a nice crease. And we'll do the same for this side. Okay, and then all we're going to do, we'll turn this piece over, and we're just going to adhere both of these to the back, okay? So, and we'll have our folds go in. So what I'll probably do is just take some of my Stampin' Seal and just cover the whole back of this piece, okay? You can use glue if you want. It just takes a little bit longer to dry. And I'm just lining this up behind it. Okay, so I've created this little flap like that, okay? It's behind there. And then the real trick is, so you could, you could just stick it in like this, but then what would happen? It would just fall out. So the trick is you take your 4th shape and you're going to adhere it to the back, and that's going to secure it and give it that sliding mechanism. So again, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal and just cover the back with adhesive here. And then cover the flaps. So you can see how we've created this little slider. So our card will go on either side in there. So all you do is just put your card right through there like that. Isn't that easy? I think it's so fun. It was something I'd never seen. You probably have seen it, but it was new to me. Another new product, the In Color embellishments. These are very pretty, pearlized, kind of iridescent looking embellishments that are the In Colors. So I thought, yes, we're going to use our strawberry slush, of course. I've got a little smudge, so I'm going to put this kind of on my smudge. That's how I deal with that. So this is that cloud cover. And then the Darling Duckling is yellow. And while we don't really have yellow in this card, I think it complements the other colors really well. So the only color that's truly a match is that strawberry slush. But you can see how you can play around with different colors and they all coordinate. Hi, Joyce. Hey, Michelle. So that is the card. Isn't that easy? So let me know if you've seen this before or even made a card. And I would love to see it if you have made a card. But I thought I'd show you a couple others. So you saw that. And then with the same bundle, I did this card, and this is just stepped up a notch. So instead of stamping, I used the die cuts, and I cut out the flower. And you may have used this type of die cut before, but one of them actually cuts, and then the one on the inside, so they're separate pieces. This doesn't cut, but it actually makes an impression in the cardstock. So I cut out 2 flowers that way, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but then it has the ridges of the flowers. I popped out these centers, and then I used the Wink of Stella to give it a little sparkle. And then for the greeting, I just made a simple thanks instead of the so very much. But isn't that so fun and pretty? I'll show you a couple other cards that I made. One of the events, we had an after hours stamping night at Onstage, and you could select a stamp set. I picked this one that I used tonight, but there was also like a turtle one that some people picked. And these were the projects. So we made this card here. And so it uses a lot of the In Colors, the tiger tail, strawberry slush, and the Darling Duckling. We made this card here, again, using In Colors. And this is the two-sided designer series paper, which I will show you, where it's really fun because there's different shades. It's printed paper versus dyed all the way through. And then last, this card is actually an adaptation of a scrapbook page. So they had a 12 by 12 scrapbook page you could make, but I was sure I would bend it or crumple it on my way home. So I decided to make a card using the same design. But the point being that you can get inspiration from anywhere and turn it into what you might want. So maybe instead you wanted to create a scrapbook page and not a card. You can do that. So that's what I did here. Again, this is using some of the new In Colors. And why not? So those were the cards that we made there. And I just wanted to share this new bundle with you. And then the last thing I need to do tonight is draw the winners of these cards. So 2 weeks ago on my Facebook Live, I made this set of note cards, and I left for on stage, and then I just forgot to draw. So we're going to do that right now with everyone who commented on or shared my Facebook Live video that night. Your name is in this cup right here, and I'll draw right now. So just remember, if you comment on or share the video from tonight, same thing. I will be drawing a winner for the card that I made tonight. All right, so first name for this card is Ruth Zinzer. So that one goes to Ruth. The next one, love you, goes to Cheryl Brunn. And we've got this cloud one here. This one will go to Donna Piercy. And then our last one, you make me smile, Marian Henrik. So you all will get those in the mail. Thank you. Thanks, Paula. I appreciate that. I know I love making those cards with the designer series paper. There's definitely a common theme with my cards, designer series paper, for sure. All right, sorry, I was trying to turn it over. All right, that's all I've got tonight. I hope you like that slider card. And if you have ever made one, tell me. I would love to to hear about it. I like to always learn new things that aren't too challenging. So thank you all so much for your time, for watching, and I look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow. And if you're not able to come tomorrow, then maybe in April. So April 13th, I've got another mystery hostess, and that one is from 3 to 6:30. It's an open house on a Sunday. So, all right, have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you. Take care.